What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Tigers True Rebuild here in MLB The Show 20. We got part number 7 for you guys today, and we are nearing the All-Star break. So we're almost halfway through the entire 2022 season. This would be year number 3. 2020 would be year 1, 2021, year 2, 2022, year 3. You guys get it. You guys get it, right? Well, take a look at the catcher position. We got Jake Rogers leading the way and getting the most votes. But how are the other positions doing? Do we have anybody that's nearing All-Star selection? It doesn't look like it. I mean, Michael Fulmer's 7-7, 108 strikeouts. That's not a lot. But that 284 and a 115, that's a really good mark. He's pitching well. But I think the bullpen is just really letting him down. And speaking of the bullpen, do we have anybody here that's worth mentioning? No. Which kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, we've invested a lot of money into that bullpen, and it's just really not paying dividends. And then we've got, of course, Joe Jimenez down there as well, 37K. So he's kind of hanging in there with everybody else with about the league average, but 4.25, that's no good, and 1.35. So again, Tigers still can't solve the closer spot. And again, there's Jake Rogers at catcher, 24 home runs. Yeah, you're reading that right. Take a look. Nobody else is even close to that mark. So 24 home runs, 47 ribbies. I guess the only other player close would be Mitch Garver, and he's hitting 295. So you could argue it either way. 20 less at bats for Mitch Garver. That's why the voting is so dang close between Garver and Rogers. First base. Well, nothing to speak of except CJ Cron all the way down there at 218. So that's really, really sucky for Mr. CJ Cron. We got to try to figure that out, figure out first base, at least try to figure out what's going on with him, try to get him going a little bit. Tommy Edman, not even close, not even on this list. He just does not get a lot of love at second base. He's one of the more underrated players for sure. Third baseman. Nothing going here other than Bobby Dahlbeck is starting to get a little bit of love there. He's up to a 79 overall, 265, 14 home runs. It's about the league average, right? So he's doing pretty good. I like to see Bobby Dahlbeck doing some good things. Shortstop. Nothing. I was looking for Nico Goodrum right there, but apparently he's just not doing enough. 270, 9 home runs, 28 RBIs. So it's just kind of, like we mentioned before, they're just kind of guys. You know, we just have guys. We don't have dudes quite yet. Hopefully Teoscar Hernandez can be that dude. As you guys can see, he's hitting 271 up to an 86 now, so that's good. But, you know, Teoscar Hernandez he's on the fringe of being a dude, in my opinion. But, yeah, he's right in between being just a guy and being a dude. Hopefully you guys are kind of following me through that. But let's, for example, Giancarlo Stanton's a dude, right? He's a dog. JD Martinez is a dog. He's a dude. I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, I mean, check this out. JD Martinez is getting a lot of love, right? 19 home runs, 58. It's the batting average, you know? Teoscar's right up there. 1849. It's the batting average. He's hitting 270. That'll come in time. Center field. Nada mucho, senor. Right field. Nothing doing. All right. Well, there's Jorge Bonifacio right there. There he is. 8 home runs, 27 ribs, 286. So that batting average started to come a little bit down. He was up near the 350s. Of course. You know, it's always sample size is going to start weighing you down, that law of averages thing, you know. But Bonifacio having himself a good, solid season. Taking a look at the standings here just to get a little bit of an update. We're still 18 and a half games back from the Minnesota Twins. They're playing lights out, and they are 9-1 in their last 10. It doesn't look like we're going to make the playoffs just because the Twins are having an insane season, and the Chicago White Sox are still, like, on the up and up. They're still doing well. You guys saw it. Big time home run hitters for Eloy Jimenez. I mean, he's doing well too. It's a tough American League, guys. It's very, very tough. And if we look at the standings here as a whole picture, when we look at the wild card, we're 6.5 games back from the wild card. So obviously that's a pretty tough road to hoe when you're starting to talk about, I don't know, 6 other teams in the mix. But it can be done. It can be done. I just don't have faith in the roster that we have right now that's actually going to make the playoffs. Because, I mean, these teams, the Athletics, the Indians, White Sox, like we talked about, are just really good. The Rays are going to make it for sure, looking at the number of losses that they have. I mean, crazier things have happened, but I just don't think, and I'm just getting rid of notifications there. We got a little OCD, guys. I just don't think that we're going to be able to do it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. We might need to make one more move if we want a shot. So let's go ahead and just see how it goes. We're going to simulate all the way up until the All-Star Futures game. Yes, I'd like to stop simulating because I want to show you guys who our All-Star Futures are. And we'll just shoot over here to American League and check this out. So we have Jordan Balazovic. He is up there. And then Ray Del VR. Cool. Let's just select Jordan Balazovic right there and just see how that goes. We're not going to get into any gameplay, but I just want to show you guys if there's anybody on our roster that's in this game. Doesn't look like it. Why is, this is funny. George Springer, second base. But that's it. So just 2 pitchers. We'll take that. And then the All-Star game. I mean, we already know who's going to make it. It's going to be Jake Rogers. So let's just go ahead and simulate all the way over to the next couple games. You saw that. The AL defeated the NL. So kudos there. All right. So I think we need to make a move. And it's not going to be a big move. But there is something that I did off screen that I kind of like the idea of. And I think we need to focus on pushing our boy here, Chris Archer, out of the rotation. You guys were talking about it in the comment section. You wanted to kind of tell me. I was asking you guys, what do you want to see me do? Do you think Casey Mize needs to be pushed out? Do you think Chris Archer needs to be pushed out? And who would you push him out for? When we look at the pitching rotation here, I mean, we've got Franklin Perez in there. I did make this change a little earlier, but Tarek Skubal, you guys wanted me to see what Tarek Skubal would be, what he could do in that number 3 slot if we pushed Casey Mize out, or if we pushed Chris Archer out, and there we go. So I ended up doing it. Although I did push Franklin Perez into the starting rotation, which is kind of a little bit of a, we're just giving Casey Mize a little bit of a breather, right? We're just giving him a little bit of a breather. He's got 96 1/3 innings pitched, and he's just not doing too well, man. 6.17 and 1.75. It's not going well, man. It's not going as good as last season did. So whether it's a sophomore slump, whether it's, he's got a little dead arm, I get it. It's a video game, but we're trying to be realistic here. He's just struggling. So a little break might do him some good. But Tarek Skubal, move him over from the bullpen. I know some people had some reservations on that. Just keep him in the bullpen. Really help him progress, move up from that 78 that he was up to like a mid-80 by the end of the year. Just pick your spots to put him in, and he'll succeed. But, we're 6.5 games out of that wild card spot. And just kind of letting a young guy like Casey Mize just continue to go out there, continue to struggle, continue to suck. That does a really damaging thing on your psyche, right? So that's what would happen in real life, I feel like, is that Casey Mize would get moved to the back end of the bullpen, not the back end, but he'd get moved to the bullpen, kind of work some kinks out, work some things out, and then eventually he'd come back. But Franklin Perez has pitched well, he's pitched decent, and he's a starter by trade. So I think that he kind of deserved that promotion, I guess you'd say, to kind of show off his stuff and see what he can do. Chris Archer, we're paying a lot of money for a bullpen guy, right? Sucks, right? $3.4 million. It's not as much as Tommy Canley at 6.5, or Matt Barnes. How much is he making? 3.3. So it's not all bad. And maybe that's where Chris Archer kind of more suits. But the move that I want to make, guys, the move that I want to make is pushing Vizcaino out of the bullpen. He was kind of a gamble in the offseason a couple of years ago. Jesse Biddle was a Rule 5 draft pick. That doesn't seem to be working out either, guys. So both of these dudes kind of gambles. I just wanted to upgrade our bullpen without spending a whole crap ton of money, and it just really doesn't seem like it's working out for us. So we need to get the bullpen a little bit better, and we've already got some pieces to do that. Tarek Skubal, Franklin Perez, we could call somebody up, of course. But the move that I want to make, and as we're playing against the Athletics, there's a guy, a starting pitcher, by the name of Chris Bassitt. Very cheap, 70 overall pitcher. His morale, he would be a 75 if he got the call up, right? So he's pretty solid. The whip is always pretty low. He's a kind of a pitch to contact guy, but he can throw hard. 95 four-seam, 93 sinker, cut fastball in the 80s, the upper 80s. So Chris Bassitt would be a really nice little piece to add to this Tigers, either number 5 starter or middle relief option. And the trade that you can actually do is to get rid of Tyler Alexander. This is a guy that doesn't seem to be in the long-term plans for the Tigers, at least for us. 26 years old. He's a 59 overall with that B potential. You were hoping that Tyler Alexander in the minor leagues would actually see some progression, but it's been very, 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 very minimal. So this is a trade that we're going to do, and we're going to go ahead and acquire Chris Bassitt from the Athletics. So maybe Tyler Alexander can actually, rejuvenate himself out there in Oakland, but we have just acquired Chris Bassitt. Now he's called up to the MLB level. He's on our 40-man roster, and now he just got a +5 boost, and he's on fire, right? So he was pitching well in AAA. I think this is a pretty savvy move. It's a pretty neat, nifty little move, and we'll go ahead and we'll move down one of those bullpen guys. And it's either going to be Biddle or it's going to be Vizcaino. And lucky enough for us, both guys are left-handed. And I think it's going to have to be, this is tough. This is pretty tough. I think it's going to have to be Vizcaino. Even though the ERA is a little bit lower than Jesse Biddle, but the whip is bad. The number of walks, that is the key here. 23 Ks for Biddle, 4 walks compared to 39 to 22. So the control for Vizcaino is just not there. So we're going to move him down to AAA. That makes room for Chris Bassitt. And then for the pitching rotation, we are going to go ahead and say, Franklin, you did some good stuff while you were in there, but we're going to go ahead and put Chris Bassitt in the number 5 slot. And let's just see how it goes. Again, we have a ton of depth, young depth, at the pitching position. So we've got Balazovic sitting down there in AAA, just continuing to put up numbers, 106 to 20. That's an awesome ratio. 108 to 35, 214, 113 for Chiang. I like that. Look at David Castillo. He's the same overall as Chris Bassitt with an even higher potential. So he's right up there. 79 Ks, 11 walks. He was one of our draft picks. We could give the call up to Matt Manning. It just doesn't end, guys. It just does not end. So Josiah Gray, we traded for him from the LA Dodgers. So we've got options. We've definitely got options. And sitting here at 19 and a half games back from the Twins at first place, we can take some risks here and trading for Chris Bassitt. So we're going to simulate to the 29th and see how this first half will end. And hopefully we can get a couple wins here, which doesn't look like that's going to come very easily. We get a couple wins against Kansas City, Arizona. We didn't get a... Oh, man. The Indians get Joey Gallo. Wow. Well, hey. So they get Joey Gallo. Now we're going to have to deal with him for the rest of his career, maybe. We'll see what happens. Maybe they sign him again. I know he's on a 1-year deal. Ugh. Well, I mean, hey, we end up getting some W's here towards the end of July. We're 52 and 59. We picked up a game or two. Don't remember exactly what that number was, but 17 and a half games back from the Twins. But we did lose ground in the wild card race. We're 8.5 games back now. So I don't think that this is going to work out for us. Of course. And then Garrett McMillan, one of our top prospects, has a torn ACL. And Jay Bruce suffers an injury, but he's day-to-day. So I wonder if we're still able to trade him away. So let's see if that's still possible. Even though he's day-to-day. Yeah, okay. So he's all right. Now here's a player that I absolutely love. This is a guy that if I was actually starting one of my teams, if I was an actual owner, I would go after Ross Stripling. The guy just performed, dude. The guy just produces. Look at his numbers, man. I mean, the control is off the charts, right? And he's always limiting guys, not scoring a bunch of runs, not giving up a ton of home runs. Like, Ross Stripling is good. And he's so underrated. This would be a trade that I would do. We're saving a bunch of money this season. You could probably sign Ross Stripling for cheap. Can you acquire Chris Davinsky as well? I mean, they're interested in making this deal. I don't know. Chris Davinsky's pretty good too, man. I mean, got a lot of movement, got a lot of stuff, got a lot of break. I don't want to cheese the CPU. Obviously, I think if we were going to pick one guy, it would be Ross Stripling for me. But I want to see, why do they need Jay Bruce? Do they really need him? It looks like they do. They need a right fielder. So let's just do Jay Bruce for Ross Stripling. I mean, most people are probably going to look at that and say, Goldie, you're losing it. You're definitely losing it. But Ross Stripling's always been one of my favorite players, one of my favorite pitchers, and I think he's gonna do fine for us. All right, so of course, with that trade is going to open up Jorge Bonifacio to center field / right field, and DJ Peters, of course. So your starting outfield is going to be Teoscar Hernandez, Jorge Bonifacio, and then probably DJ Peters. Yeah, he can play center field, but at 62 speed, fielding 67, 75. Yeah, you kind of want DJ in right field for sure. Maybe even put Teoscar in center field. I think that's what we'll do. We'll put Teoscar Hernandez in center field. He's got 78 speed. Arm strength's pretty good. Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll put the slower guys out on the corners, namely Peters in left and Jorge in right. And of course, we can't go without taking a look and seeing how Chris Bassitt's doing, guys. He's up to a 77. And through 17 2/3, he's got a 3.57, a sub-1 whip. Heck yeah. Tarek Skubal continues to pitch well in 81. Casey Mize dropping that ERA down, of course. That's good. Ross Stripling there at a 70. Of course, we'll see what he's going to bring to the table. But here's the deal. Since we're out of this, I think normally what a team would want to do is not like ruin their guys' arms, right? And you might see like a 6-man rotation. You might see some guys that might become starters, like I don't know, Ross Stripling. He's been a starter his entire career. Franklin Perez might get a few starts here and there and kind of rest their arms a little bit, because there's no reason to be, really pushing for this thing if we're out of it. So I think we're done as far as trade deadline goes. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate the rest of the season. I'll give you guys a monthly update, and we'll just go from there. All right, guys. So in August, here is the look from August. So we are actually 8 games below 500, 66 and 74. Got a couple of nice wins here, 8-5 over Minnesota. Ended up winning the series against Minnesota, 5-1, 8-5. I like to see that, but the White Sox ended up winning that series too. Lost a 2-game set here against the Cubs, and Minnesota got their revenge there. But again, we're playing in some pretty close games. And we're just like maybe a couple pieces away, I feel like. You know, we're losing the games like 7-6, 8-5. The games that we're winning were close. So it's still the same story that was painted in the beginning of the year. We're just a little bit away, just a couple pieces away. And when we go ahead and we look at how everybody did in the month of August, Ray Delviar, 238, 13 Ks. Got like that. Sandy Baez, Chadwick Trump, 347 in July. I said the month of August. I meant July. Driving 19 runs over 75 at-bats. Nice. Antonio Novoa, 385. Ullman struggled. Jesus Anaya struggled. But let's get a little stats update before we go ahead and simulate for the rest of the entire year. All right, let's do that. Mike Minor right now is considered our best overall pitcher. 153 strikeouts. That's 100 more strikeouts than walks. That's a really good number there. 354 and 115. Fulmer, 9 and 10. Look at these 500 records again, guys. So I think it's the offense. I think the offense is the problem, and we'll go and see what the team stats are. But I think it's the offense. I think again we're missing one or two pieces from the offense to kind of help these pitchers out, man. They're pitching well, right? 354, 115, 281, 110. Like we gotta make sure we're backing our pitchers up with some offense, right? And then Tarek Skubal still, despite becoming a starter now and out of the bullpen, he's naturally a starter. But it's really cool to see that he's up to an 81 and he just keeps moving on up. 25, you gotta like that. And then Matthew Boyd, again, like he's having a good season too. 186, 58. ERA and the whip are pretty solid too. Balazovic is up +1 to a 78. Chris Bassitt, 4.56 and a 1.29. Obviously that's not amazing, but it does the job when you're a number 5 starter. Chang, 172 in 55 with a 2.26 and a 1.13. And you know, he's really kind of just been holding strong. Even though he's got that D potential, he's still holding strong with the output, with the performance. I like to see that. I think Shane might get a call up here as a bullpen option, you know, in next season. We'll have to see. David Castillo, guys. In AAA. He's one of our draft picks from, I believe, year number 1. Sub-1 whip with over 180 innings pitched. It's insane. That is nuts. His walk per 9 is a 92. This guy is going to be something special. And I'm excited to see what David Castillo is going to do for us here in the long haul. Matt Manning is actually rated better than Casey Mize right now. But Mize has actually started to kind of knock those numbers down a little bit, now being pushed into the bullpen. Ullman had a pretty darn good season, has a 2-to-1 walk to strikeout ratio. I should flip that around. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's still got some room to improve, but he's going to be a solid one, I believe. Chris Archer, we won't talk about that. But I feel like, you know, it was worth a risk. It was worth the gamble to acquire a guy that's, you know, won a Cy Young before. You know, Danny Norris. I'm actually curious to see how Danny Norris has done for those Cincinnati Reds. So we'll take a look at that in just a couple moments. But Josiah Gray, 100 innings, 277, 137. So he's progressing nicely. Thomas Watson is doing well. Jason Oliveros is doing pretty decent. So our pitching is looking like it's doing good, guys. It's doing good. 272 for Faedo. Faedo might get a call up to AAA next season. He's a 69, so we'll see how that does. Oh, man, but Chet Burnett. Like, we got to get Chet some time. Like, he was one of our draft picks. You know, he can't be stuck here in single A and not progressing. He's only progressing a little bit. He needs to get into some gameplay and start moving on up the boards here. But Matt Barnes, 3-2, so he knocked that down quite a bit. Hanley was kind of I wish he would have done a lot better for us, but. And then Jesse Biddle still struggling, so I think we're going to say goodbye to Jesse Biddle and maybe just give one of these younger guys a shot as a bullpen arm. Ross Stripling, you know, he did good. He did good for us. That was a good trade for us. Upped himself to a +2 from a 70. So we'll give him a couple more chances here to be one of our bullpen guys for 2023. Closing pitching, they got a little bit better. Jimenez is now up to an 85. And he's got 38 saves. Not bad, kid. Not bad. Ray Del Villar, 166 in 48 innings. Gotta like that. Jonah Monroe, 42 Ks, 8 walks. Guys, our pitching is gonna be something. I can promise you that. Chadwick Tromp, I think he's deserving of a call up for September. He's hitting 283 at the AAA level. I think that's over 418 at bats. That's pretty consistent. Grayson Griner right behind him here at 252. One of our draft picks, Mario Feliciano, 10 home runs, 59 ribbies, 18 steals, 243. CJ Cron is going to finish the year hitting under 230. Like, that's just not acceptable. It's just simply just not acceptable, guys. And then Cabrera here with what? How does Cabrera have 69 at bats? Like that? That's kind of a travesty, and I'm going to apologize to you guys for that right now, right off the get-go. But that's a CPU error, my friends. That's a CPU error. That needed to be fixed quite a long time ago. But yeah, our first base production was just really bad this season. I think that might be a good reason why our offense was really bad. Just our first base position, a position of supposed to be an offensive strength, just didn't really do much at driving in runs. Tommy Edman having a solid season. This is just something that he does. He's going to give you 250 to 270. You know, I'd like him to get to 280, but that's going to be rare, given his contact numbers at 56 and 50. But you know, he did some good for us. Played some good defense. I want to see how many errors he had. Probably not many. Only 5. Had a 9.89. It's good. It's good fielding numbers for Tommy Edman. But Antonio Novoa, this guy I'm excited about. 31 steals at AA, 326. Let's see what Antonio Novoa is all about. Hopefully that turns into something. But this is what I like to see, guys. Bobby Dahlbeck has now taken over the starting third baseman role. And he hit 20 home runs this season at 252. Obviously, you want that batting average to go up a little bit further, man. Right? You always do. 252 is decent. But given his potential, you know, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. That arm strength at 83, that fielding can be a little bit better at 65. But those power numbers are legit. And Bobby Dahlbeck is going to be a player for us down the road. And he's just starting to come up into his prime at 26 years old. Jamer had a solid season, and he's seeming to be more and more like a backup type of third baseman. And that's fine. That's fine. But, you know, Paredes is right behind him. And Jamer might be on his way out. You know, we thought, at least Al Avila thought, that he was going to be a prime-time, solid starter at third base. And for us, he has been pretty good. But I think, sign of the times here, he might be on his way out. With Paredes at a 73, he's 6 years younger. He's more powerful at a 62 against lefties. Contact numbers need a little work. Defensively, he's a little bit better with the arm strength. Maybe Jamer can move to first. Maybe we don't have to give up on Candelario, because Jamer can play first base. So that's an option as well. Arm strength is a 54. So maybe he actually doesn't even fit at third base. So I think we might have found the solution for Jamer Candelario if he were to stay with us. Nico Goodrum, 267, 15 home runs. Just solid. He's just a solid player. Easy come, easy go. Just steady. What you see is what you get. This is one of our draft picks here at AA. 14 home runs, 17 steals, 244. I like what I see there. But Jose Garcia at AA. Guys, Jose Garcia is going to be special. 6 homers, 39 ribs, 297. The season's not even over yet, right? I like what I'm seeing there. Teoscar, 23 home runs, 287. Ruker down in AAA. Unfortunately, we felt like we had to move him down. We had to make room for Teoscar Hernandez, and Ruker is raking. 15 home runs, 306. Keep it going, man. Keep it going, because I think you're going to find yourself with us next year for sure. He's up to an 80. I think that's going to be deserved of a call-up. DJ Peters, ever since like taking over and getting more playing time, now he's starting to come through. And it's kind of funny with Peters. Now that he knows the season's lost, that's when he wants to hit, right? It's unfortunate. Didn't mean to do that. But that's unfortunate. But I do like the fact that DJ Peters is starting to come back around and really kind of save his season a little bit. So he did see a knock in the amount of at-bats, the amount of games. You can't play when you're not performing. That's just how it goes. Daz Cameron is still hurt. He's still hurt, so I just don't. It says 3 to 4 months. I want to see what exactly that timetable is, but that sucks because that was just a totally lost season for Daz Cameron. But Riley Green, 245. Want to see a little more production out of him at AAA than 212 for Brendan Davis. That's not good. We got 264 for Bonifacio, which is about what you would expect from Bonifacio. But Carlos Santos, I told you guys he was going to be a monster. He's 19 years old, and he's already challenging Bonifacio, right? I mean, he's 71. Carlos Santos is on the rise, man. He's on his way up. 23 home runs, 82 ribs, chipped in 21 steals with a 253. Better watch out. Daryl McKenna got a little work to do here, but 235 at the AAA level. Now, granted, that's probably going to be more his numbers. It's probably going to be more Carlos Santos's numbers had he gotten called up to AAA. So I think that's just something to watch out for. So that's kind of a overall statistical update, guys. This video has actually gone long enough, and we're going to go ahead and simulate all the way up until the end of September. We're going to get that final record, and then going into the off season will be part number 8. I'll give you guys a stats update for part number 8. We'll see where our guys are at. And I don't know, maybe, do you guys want to see a live stream of this? I think that actually might be pretty fun, that you guys can actually get involved in this true rebuild, because I do want you guys to kind of get involved in this and be a part of it. I know this was kind of supposed to be, when it first started, was just supposed to be me rebuilding the team. And I think we've done a pretty decent job. I think it's been realistic enough. We've set the team up for a good foundation, I guess you'd say, especially with the pitching staff being fairly young. Good draft picks, solid acquisitions as far as veterans go. Acquiring Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez, Mike Minor, Barnes. I think we're doing all right. We're setting up. We're building up for the grand finale, and I think that's going to be this off season. So let me know what you guys think, and we will go ahead and get into this simulation. Let me know, of course, what you guys think about what the direction is that you want to take this series. Like I said, I'm open for anything. I'm open for a live stream. I'm open for just kind of doing it by myself. But we finished 78 and 84. I believe that is a flip of what we finished last season, where we were actually above 500. So we got a little bit of a dip, a little bit of a drop in production, but let me know in the comment section, guys, what you guys want to do with this series for year number 4. Leave a like if you like this thing. I will see you in the next one, live stream or regular upload. Doesn't matter to me. See you guys in the next one. As always, peace.